Look, we get it. Rasslin ain't easy. Imagine putting on a 20-minute live-action stunt show and needing to stay in character, remember every cue, and not actually hurt your opponent. Accidents are gonna happen, and sometimes it's a simple slip and fall, and sometimes you're just gonna come off looking really dumb. I'm Senior Siete for 7 Rasslin, and let's take a look at 7 WWE superstars who looked really stupid. Now, before we get into this, we appreciate your support, so if you enjoy this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and rear view that notification bell. Number 1. Dean Malenko. If we ever do a list on pay-per-views that got screwed up, Sold Out 2000 has got to be on the tippity top of that list. For starters, the main event was originally supposed to be a world title match between NWO 2000 leader Bret Hart and Sid Vicious. However, and I don't know if anybody has ever mentioned this before, but Bret Hart received a real-life concussion from Goldberg at Starrcade due to an errant mule kick, and then he had to forfeit the title. This would cause Vince Russo to book Ultimate Fighting has-been Tank Abbott to win the WCW World title in a Battle Royal. But that was a dumb idea, as Abbott was nowhere near on the level to hold that belt or be a main eventer, and that was the last we'd see as Russo as booker of WCW. The main event was changed to Chris Benoit squaring off against Sid for the vacant title, and we saw the Canadian Crippler claim his first ever WCW World Championship, and then promptly vacate it the next day and jump to WWE, which is another story for another day. The reason Benoit was available that night was because he was originally scheduled for a triple threat theater match against Jeff Jarrett for the US title. However, Jarrett was injured as well and had to forfeit his championship. And instead of just tossing out the triple threat theater gimmick, which involved 2 wrestlers squaring off in 3 different stipulation matches, the decision was made to have Billy Kidman face 3 different wrestlers and 3 different stipulation bouts. He'd face Dean Malenko in a catch-as-catch-can match, Perry Saturn in a bunkhouse brawl, and The Wall in a caged heat match. Wow, poor Kidman. 3 matches in one night, that is rough. Well, fortunately for him, Dean Malenko forgot the rules of a catch-as-catch-can match, although in his defense, I'd never even heard of this match type before. It's possible they told him the rules as he was walking through the curtain, but the rules state that if a wrestler goes out of the ring and touches the floor, they lose the match. And look here, Dean Malenko taking a powder about 2 minutes into the match. Match over, Kidman wins. Yikes, if you ever wanted WCW in a nutshell, well, there it is. No sweat off Dean's back, though. He'd quit WCW along with Chris Benoit, Perry Saturn, and Eddie Guerrero literally the next day. Number 2. The Great Khali. The roots of the Battle Royal match go back over 300 years, as there were actual advertisements for them in London newspapers dating as far back as the early 18th century. However, those bouts were contested between boxers under boxing rules. That sounds insane. They need to bring that back. Today's Battle Royals are almost exclusively the domain of professional wrestling. It's a very exciting concept with rules that are very simple. However many wrestlers are in the ring at once, you're eliminated by going over the top rope and touching the floor with both feet. Last person in the ring wins. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And check it out. The Great Khali seems to understand this concept, as he was able to eliminate Batista and Kane at the same time to claim his first world title in a Battle Royal on July 20th, 2007. Of course, he would fall victim to Beth Phoenix's figure 4 lip lock a few years later at the Royal Rumble, but can't say we blame him. So later that year, on September 10th, 2010, when the Great Khali would square off against Edge in a match with Battle Royal rules, why would he get out of the ring like this? Jerry Lawler would try to cover by saying that you have to be thrown over the top rope, but come on, I don't think that Snake threw Andre the Giant out of the 1989 Royal Rumble. Well, let's give Khali a break. Poor guy had to be in that Longest Yard remake. The match was allowed to continue, with Edge picking up the win anyways, proving once again that Khali's greatest kryptonite is the Grit Couple. Number 3. Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh, it breaks my heart to do this. There's a reason Every 7 Rasslin video starts with Little Randy Savage, not like a little singer siete. It's because Macho Man is the friggin' guy. And yeah, we kind of need to call him out for doing the exact same thing that the Great Khali did. In 1992, Randy Savage was involved in the most metal feud of all time with Jake the Snake Roberts. Jake slapped Randy's wife Elizabeth in the face. He let a cobra bite Randy Savage on the arm. I'm going to reiterate that one. Jake Roberts and Randy Savage did an angle where Randy let Jake sick a friggin' cobra on him. They asked The Undertaker about this on that WWE Rival show, and the dead man said, people to this day say, how the hell did they do that with the snake? And I'm like, well, Jake put the snake up close enough to bite Randy's arm, and the snake bit Randy's arm. Yeah, I know, but how did they do it? No, I'm telling you, the snake bit Randy's arm, which is horrific. So it could be understood that Randy was very much looking forward to getting a hold of Jake Roberts during the 1992 Royal Rumble. And get a hold of him he did, quickly eliminating Roberts with a high knee, but that wasn't enough. The Macho Man would then launch himself over the top rope to the floor to continue his attack. Oh no, you can't do that. Can't do that in a battle royal. The Undertaker would toss Savage back in the ring, and they kind of just let him stay, which is good because, Savage was supposed to be part of the Final Four. But that's not why Savage is on this list, even though it is Royal Rumble related. In 1993, the final 2 of the Rumble would come down to Savage and Yokozuna, which personally made me giddy because a Randy Savage-Bret Hart WrestleMania title match would be my dream come true. And as the Royal Rumble came to an end, Randy Savage would hit his trademark elbow drop on the fake sumo wrestler and then go for the pin in a Royal Rumble. Now, this was so Yokozuna could perform the amazing feat of tossing Randy from the mat over the top rope to the floor, but there had to have been a better way to do this because it made Randy look real dumb. Number 4, Sid Vicious. Wait. Sid Vicious dumb moments? Come on, too easy. Even for me. Let's move on. Number 5, Cameron. Alright, screw it. Let's do Sid real quick. Sid Vicious has got to be one of the most interesting performers in pro wrestling history. How the team at Dark Side of the Ring hasn't gotten to him yet is beyond me. More than anyone else in the business, he just looks like a pro wrestler. But his in-ring work is pretty bad. I believe it was Shawn Michaels who referred to him as the most expensive piece of luggage in the WWE because other wrestlers have to carry him. And his mic work, while serviceable, for a big screaming lunatic, has a few entertaining mishaps. We're going to focus on one this time, that being the May 14th, 1995 In Your House pay-per-view where Jim Ross was conducting an interview with Sid and his manager Ted DiBiase. When Ross would finally throw a question at Sid, Sid would kind of stumble over his words for a bit before finally saying, "Let me do this again," to which Jim Ross responds, "It's live, pal." The psychotic giant would then politely apologize and go on with his promo. Classic. Number 5, Cameron. Former WWE Camp Screw It, the one more Sid one. On the November 15th, 1999 episode of Monday Nitro, Kevin Nash came to the ring dressed as Sid, and yikes, that is creepy. Never ever do that again, Mr. Nash. And you'd imagine the ruler of the world wasn't pleased with this, came out to give Nash and Scott Hall a piece of his mind. Literally, apparently, Sid would say, "You're only half the man that I am, and I have half the brain that you do." Hold on, Y to the second power, carry the 3. Yeah, that math ain't mathin', buddy. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash would react accordingly. Sid would go on to say that they were trying to make him look like a jackass, but honestly, he was doing a good job of that by himself. Okay, let's move on for real. Number 5, Cameron. There are hundreds of ways to pin your opponent. Backslide, victory roll, La Magistra Cradle, small package, small package. But every pin attempt has one thing in common: your opponent's shoulders need to be on the mat. So leave it to former Tough Enough competitor and wrestling innovator Cameron to come up with a whole new way to pin someone. During a September 15th, 2014 episode of Monday Night Raw, Cameron would square off against her former Funkadactyl partner Naomi. In the middle of this heated bout, Cameron would hit a very impressive split-legged leg drop to Naomi's back. Cameron would then scream, "Count it, ref!" to which our poor befuddled referee had no idea what to do because Naomi was on her stomach. Like we said, a pinfall occurs when... Never mind, you know. Cameron would scream, "Count it" again before finally realizing that, oh, yeah, We're live, pal. Number 6, Naomi. Okay, we're going to put a big asterisk on this one. Before the era of titanic WrestleMania contests between top women that would go back and forth for 20 amazing minutes, they'd kind of just toss the entire roster into a match to get everybody a WrestleMania payday. Just like the Divas Championship Invitational that took place at WrestleMania 30. In it, we saw AJ Lee defending her title against 13 other competitors, and that is wildly unfair, right? And it makes it so people like Eva Marie can say, yeah, I wrestled for the title at WrestleMania. Anyhow, the match came down to AJ Lee against her top contender Naomi, and AJ Lee had managed to tie Naomi up like a pretzel in this submission hold. And here's where it gets confusing. The original ending was going to involve AJ Lee taking Naomi's hand and making her tap out on the mat, thus creating a controversy and setting up a rematch. However, for some reason, Naomi would actually tap out with her free hand. So, no controversy at all? No rematch? And Paige would debut and win the title the next night on Raw. But like I said, we're going to put an asterisk by this one. Both The Rock and Paige have said that they met at WrestleMania 30 so The Rock could deliver the news that she was winning the belt the next night on Raw. But why have AJ make Naomi's hand tap? Also, why have your heel win by making your top good guy submit, especially in a multi-person match where there are like 12 other people that can come in and break up the submission? It was all very fishy, and it made Naomi look really bad. Number 7, Paul Heyman. Every good actor knows that you absolutely need to check your props before going out on stage, especially when that prop is necessary to one of the most dominant title reigns in the history of modern wrestling. The Royal Rumble 2021 was the first one that took place under COVID rules, so it was the empty Thunderdome for this one. Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens gave it their best in a last man standing match anyways. They brawled all around Tropicana Field until Kevin Owens managed to handcuff Roman in a position where he couldn't possibly stand up. The ref counted to 9, but before he could get to 10, Reigns grabbed him and chucked him into the steel structure. Friggin' brilliant. However, a second official would arrive and start counting, and he smartly kept his distance from our tribal chief. Fortunately for Roman, Paul Heyman arrived with a key and was prepared to free him. But it didn't work. For whatever reason, the wise man was unable to unlock the needle mover. At around a count of 6, the ref decided just to stop counting, for no legitimate reason. Eventually, Roman would find a way to kinda stand up, but it was clear he should have been counted out at this point. It was a bad look. Like we said, check your props, theater kids. Well, there's our list. Did we forget any other times WWE superstars look really stupid? If so, please leave them in the comments section below. Also, if you enjoyed this, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drag and run on that notification bell. Until next time, I'm Singer Siete for 7 Rasslin saying bye-bye.